How would you like to be able to grow massive authority in the industry? Well, that's what we're going to talk about on the podcast today. And so, you've probably heard of Dan Kennedy, one of the best marketers of all time. He said, if you're not systematically and deliberately creating some type of celebrity status in your brand and your company, you're underutilizing a key asset. So I want to talk to you about this 4-step strategy or this 4-step formula for growing your business, attracting new clients, and making competition irrelevant. It all starts with your strategic blueprint. Now, we're going to dig into this because we're going to talk about how you can start to control the narrative, how you can create the best message in the right media for your market, and then also take advantage of massive trends in podcasting, media placement, and AI. So join us on the podcast today because we're going to be talking specifically about this and breaking it down, and I'm looking forward to talking with you there. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And today we're talking about building massive authority. Now, I've got a sort of a 4-part series that I'm going to do here. And the reason is I want to break this down into tidbits and chunks because, as you know, I want you to be able to just have that daily nugget that you can work on. But if you want to be able to binge this like a series, you'll have 4 different segments that you'll be able to dig into. So we're talking about building authority. And before I do, I want to kind of set the stage with a quote. And the reason I want to set the stage with a quote is this. Many of you may be struggling. You may be having trouble in the marketplace. You may be trying to grow your business and you're having a really hard time. And that's understandable. The marketplace has been a little dynamic and crazy. But here's what you need to understand. And I think it was Jim Rohn that gave this idea and this thought in this quote. He said, it's not the direction of the wind that creates your direction in life. It's the set of your sails. So let me say that again. It's not the direction of the wind, but the set of your sails that will determine your direction in life. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't matter what's going on in the marketplace. If you have a solid strategy, you can begin to grow your business, start attracting opportunities, and make separate yourself from the competition. But you've got to start with a strategy. And I believe authority marketing is the way to go because you can leverage so much, and we're going to break it down. So it's a 4-step formula that I've sort of developed over the last 30 years of working with some of the biggest names out there. Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Trump, T. Harv Eker, lots of celebrities and athletes. And what I've learned is that there's 4 real strategic things you need to do. And the first is have a strategy. So let's break that down for a second. What do I mean when I say strategy? Well, first of all, it's not enough to go out and just place media. I went out a long time ago and I put, as seen on LinkedIn and Fox News and ABC and USA Today because I was quoted in those periodicals. That doesn't do you any good. The strategy I'm talking about is first and foremost controlling the narrative in your messaging, because being on authority sites or magazines is not going to do anything for you. By controlling the narrative, what you're going to do is you're going to talk about the things that are most important for you. Now, the strategy we use is called the perfect interview. And the perfect interview or the ideal interview is one where you talk about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and how people can connect with you. That message right there will get you some serious results. But before you do that, you've got to identify what I call the triangle or the 3 things in marketing. And that is you have to establish your market. You got to know who you're talking to. Who is the person that you're talking to? You can't just be out there talking to everyone. And even if you're in front of everyone, you want to make sure you're saying things specifically to the person that is your ideal client. So you've got to understand who your market is. Second, you've got to craft a message. What is that compelling message that someone needs in order to really do business with you? In other words, what are they going to learn from you? What are they going to get from you? Why do they want to work with you? And then finally, the media. So you define your market, you define your message, and then you identify the media for your business. Now, I highly recommend really leveraging trends that are growing in the marketplace. What are the trends? AI. AI is something you can utilize. But from a media standpoint, podcasting. Podcasting is one of the number 1 ways. Look, we've got over 1,000 episodes now, and I get calls every day or messages every day about people wanting to work with me, wanting to do things with me. It increases your trust and credibility to podcast, but then you can also get yourself placed in media sources. And media sources are a great way, depending on who they are, to get legacy content, which we'll talk about again tomorrow. But the first step in this 4-step process is you've got to have a strategy. Start with your ideal message and craft the narrative. Once you have that strategy, then you can move to the second step, which we'll talk about tomorrow, which is building authority. Building authority. So now that we've got that down, and we're going to be talking about this for the next 3-4 sessions, let me give you an example of this. We're working with a gentleman by the name of Casey Field, and Casey is a 6-time world champion bareback rodeo rider. And, he's been very, very well received and known on the rodeo circuit. But, what he's learned is that just being exposure out there isn't enough. And so we've partnered with him. We've done some authority media for him. We've helped him to get featured in magazines and podcasts and all kinds of things. And just from doing that, he's starting to get more sponsor deals. He's starting to get more companies out there. See, most athletes over time, after they finish their career, they don't have a brand that they can utilize. Well, Casey's done a phenomenal job of really leveraging his brand and building and growing and working towards building his brand and building his authority. And as a result, he's starting to grow his business, attract more, opportunities, and make his competition irrelevant. And so this is the first step. Be strategic. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about how we can, utilize maybe just 1 hour a week of your time and put you in front of hundreds of thousands of people. But for today, step 1 is strategy. So I'm looking forward to talking with you more tomorrow, because we're going to talk about now, where do you build authority? So if you've learned something today, do me a favor and share the show. I'm really looking forward to talking with you tomorrow, because building authority is something I'm super passionate about right now. But I hope you have an amazing day. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind. You can go to thedailymastermind.com. You'll see all kinds of different episodes there. But you can also hit me up. I'll put some links in the show notes if you want to let me know what you're up to. And I'll talk with you more tomorrow. Have an amazing day.